good evening, everybody. It is Straight Talk Food for the Soul, and we are back this week. And I have my guest Trey tonight, and we're live. I've only done live twice, so he came down and drove from Columbus for me, and we are well on our way. And it looks like we have a lady that wants to come sit in as a guest. Hold on one moment. Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Hold it down. How's everybody doing? Straight talk. So we got some good information for y'all today. Got some great information. It's going to be intriguing as well as informative and inspirational.
First, we're going to have Trey introduce himself, and we want to talk a little bit about his book and his nonprofit, and then we're going to get started.
I am Treye. Not the Trey that you carry, not the Trey that can carry you. Not the Trey that you put down, but the Trey that can lift you up. I've been saying that so long now, I had to learn how to get it. So I have a nonprofit. This is called Color Fighters, and we deal with health challenges. You're facing from diabetes to dialysis, from cancer to heart disease. We definitely give support. This is, and it says on the back, you never fight alone. I have a book called Penetration. And with that, I had to get a catchy title. I had to get something that makes you think one way while I ease you back the other way. So that's what Penetration does. It's a 21-day journey from hurting to healing. And that was where I found myself at. I was doing more hurting than I was doing healing. So I want to be vulnerable and share with the world.
And this is my copy. If you want a copy, it's $15. Support, support, support. So now we are going to jump in again. I am your host, Claudette Hutchinson. And Trey, we're going to get deep down. And we have a guest member who wanted to come out and listen. And if she wants to ask a question, she can jump in, just raise her hand. Okay, we are going to open up with prayer. And we're going to ask Trey to pray us in tonight. And then we'll do our scripture. And then we're going to go into our questions.
Dear God, come before you, heads bowed, humble spirit, to bless Miss Claudette and everything that she's put together. Touch her heart, as well as touch her hands. Keep your covenant over all of her family. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. And our scripture tonight is Jude 1:20 and 21. But you, dear friends, build each other up on the foundation of your most high faith. Pray in the Holy Spirit. Keep each other in the love of God. Wait for the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ, who will give you eternal life. And I chose that scripture because we want to know that God loves everybody, not just certain people in certain places and at certain times. Now we're going to jump into our questions, and I'm a question girl, and I got a bunch. We had a free interview while he was eating his lunch, and we had an amazing talk. He even coached and trained me some today, y'all. And he's helping me guide my way through singleness. Our first question tonight is, why are you single? And there's so many options out here for you.
I get that question a lot, and it's not a question that I take lightly. I think that in my journey and my growth, I needed to be single to get to where I'm at now. Growing and healing was the main reason why I elected to do this path alone, because I wasn't going to present you the best possible version of myself if I wasn't healed. So being single was the time for me to sit back and work on me. So
He good looking, y'all. I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, but he cute. Now look. I'm telling y'all, look. Y'all know I'm as transparent as they come. Next question. Do you know your purpose?
I do now. I do now. For the longest, I walked in my successes like you and I were talking about, and that didn't matter whether it was right or wrong. As long as it was successful for me, I did it. Now I understand that my purpose and my plan, they work cohesively together to get me to being the best man I can be, not just for myself, but for my future wife. So that's where I'm at.
He said for his future wife.
Well, yeah, I don't mind saying it. I mean, because if we don't manifest it in our hearts and our spirit, then we don't get somebody else's wife. So I'm asking for my future wife.
Mhm. And before all y'all came on and we got all these little devices going and we got folk on TikTok, YouTube, on our Facebook, I asked them a question. I know I'm not an intimidating woman, but the men that are watching me seem not to approach me. And I kind of was asking them, to kind of coach me through it. And the spiel I gave them, I'm looking to be a millionaire. I can do for myself, and I don't really need a man to take care of me. And then he started teaching me. Tell me what you told me that I didn't do correctly.
Well, we talked earlier, and what she said was great. Absolutely wonderful. The things that a strong, godly woman possesses. Great. But she didn't leave room for a man to fit in. She didn't leave room for him to see where there is a vacant space for leadership. So basically, she came already ready. So where was I going to fit in? How could I take you by the hand when your hand was you already down the road? So sometimes we can get. I don't like to use the word intimidated when I'm talking about my men folks. I just like to use the word. Sometimes we can get kind of shy because we really don't want to say, "Hey, you know what? That's my job to lead. That's my job to lead. And I'm not going to take my job from you."
I think I've been kind of taking the job, y'all. I'm not uncomfortable saying that I might have led with the wrong foot. And that's why I'm single. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So, leading to my next question. I know when we had our first interview over the phone when we talked, I said I have no problem asking a guy out. And most men, when I ask them out, mm, they be like, I don't think you should be asking me. But you said something to me about, that's where a man knows to hunt if she does that. So help us out with that.
It doesn't take away a man's willingness to hunt. What it does, it says you can hunt over here. So dropping the proverbial handkerchief is no different than saying something that ignites that switch in him to say, hey, the light is on over here. The light's on right here. You can definitely come over here and have that conversation because I don't want you to get two things confused. The way that we make you feel comfortable versus how confident we are. We're definitely confident, but we want to be mindful in our approach. So we approach from a position of comfortability. We want you to feel comfortable with our approach. Because ladies, y'all don't beat us down. I mean, we've been beat down. So for us to approach, we definitely want to get that little sign. And it doesn't take you off of your pivot, off of your stand. It just says, you know what? Let me allow him to be a man. He just might have been looking at me, but I might not have shown him anything that says I'm open for a conversation and not to be alone. So it's okay to draw. I mean, I love it. You know, and I think small things. A coffee date, something just have juice. Nothing that has to be extravagant, but just something that we can get to know one another. And then if it's cool, then you're gonna know right then because I'm gonna say, hey, I want to see you.
Okay, we get ready to go deep real fast and quick. We going deep real fast and quick. Um, Intimacy. Now I know me as a female, I know what's intimate to me. If I'm with my person, say for instance I'm cooking and he come by, he might just touch my neck or wrap his arms around me. But there, and I'm 58, y'all. I've only been with 9 men my whole entire life, so I don't have a lot of experience. But I know most of the men that I've been in relationship with, that's not been intimate for them. The intimate part for them is the sexual activity. So help me out.
Um, and I use myself because I was a guy that had a problem with intimacy. I would swap out. And what I mean by that is I would give you intimacy after you gave me sex. Because intimacy wasn't important to me that time as the act of sex was. So what happens is that now you're looking for us to give you intimacy, and we don't understand that the mental, the physical, the spiritual, all the emotional satisfaction that intimacy brings, we only know one thing, and that's the satisfaction that sex brings. So on my journey to healing, on my journey to growth, I learned that I needed to understand how to give intimacy, not for what she's done, what she's going to do, or what she has done, but to give her intimacy for who she is. For just who she is. She deserves me to go in that kitchen when you cook and wrap my arms around you. And that's where we slide into pillow talk.
And that's what this is tonight, Pillow Talk with Trey. So how are men now that you're teaching and you're coaching, how are you getting them to know what we need emotionally?
To start by listening. Don't think what worked so well before will work now. Um, we don't want to show up, and this was me. I showed up so many times wanting to be a partner, but did not have the necessary skill set, so I turned into a project. So now I talk to men about let's show up to be a partner. Let's find out how to stay in that lane. And that lane comes from being able to talk about things like what intimacy looks like, what does being a provider, a protector, understanding, what does it feel like to comfort you? And all of these things can take place.
I guess my fear is when you tell a man what you like and what you desire, they become a chameleon and they become that thing. And then a lot of times they're pretending.
Okay, good point. So that is why you don't tell it to every man. That's why you don't tell it to every man. You have to tell that to the man that has won that. Let us earn that sentence. Let us earn that right to know that.
Okay, I guess because let me say me.
Okay.
I guess my barometer may have been off and my spirit of discernment for relationships has been off because the men that I've attracted don't necessarily have the emotional maturity. So what can I do to build up my barometer so that I'm choosing the right men?
Well, what you want to do is have a stronger, you want your interview sessions to be stronger than your hiring session.
Mm.
You want your interview session, your process to be stronger than your hiring. You got to go through and get the things that you need from him without even telling him what you need. When he gets a job, then you let him know.
Okay, lay it out for us. Help me out.
Okay.
Me and you, we
Okay.
right now, we having water.
Okay, we're having water. We're on this little day. I'm going to give you things about me. I'm going to start off with this. I don't want to feel like an interview process, so I'm going to tell you this is what I do. I love this. Then I'm also going to say what attracted me about you. So I'm going to say when I saw you pushing that button over there, hey, look, I had to come behind you and say something because I knew that I might not get a chance to say anything else. Okay, so I'm letting you know that because I want to answer more questions than you have to ask me. I don't want you to sit there with a notepad like an interview. So I want to jump out and say, hey, I'm Trey, I'm single, I'm a father of 4 beautiful children, 3 girls, 1 boy. I'm going to lead with that. I'm also going to lead with my intention to let you know that I'm interested because I want to make sure you understand I'm dating with the plan that will lead me to the purpose of being my wife's husband. See, I wasn't born a husband when you were born a wife.
This is true.
So I can't become what I want to be and need to be unless I do what? I like.
He talking good, y'all. He talking good, y'all. Every woman wants to hear what you just said. And I think that would allow us to let our guard down. Because I know there are walls up.
Yeah.
We're not going to pretend like there are no walls up. After 2 divorces, 10 children, losing a house, losing cars, rebuilding a business, there are walls up.
And that's something unique. What I talk to men about is not knock down the wall. Let's put a door in the wall. We'll knock it down from the inside together. That's my job to knock it down with. So let's just put a door in. Let's do enough to get us a door. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Your walls have been up so long that it would be foolish for me to come in 1 year and knock them all down. I don't want to waste that time. I don't want to say, well, I gotta wait next 2 years, 3, and year 4. No. Let me build a door in this brick wall, come on through it, and let's knock it down together.
Let me look on my paper and go back to my questions. How, and I've talked to a bunch of guys, how do most men know in 3 to 6 months to a year he wants, she's the one? And then other men, they never know when she's the one. How are you gonna know when she's your wife?
I'm gonna know because there's not gonna be anything that resembles my past women. So she's gonna be nothing, she's gonna be so different. I'm already gonna know who she is before she even says who she is. And I'm gonna watch how I maneuver. I'm gonna watch how I open the water for her. I'm gonna watch how I open the door, how I meet her at the gas station to put gas in the car, how I ask her, can I come over just to take your trash out? I'm gonna start seeing me do those husbandly things. So I'm already gonna know who she is. I'm already gonna know. Listen, I'm tell y'all, it don't take long for us to really realize who a woman is. What it is, it might take long for us to act on. We already know who you are, but we got a lot of things we gotta go against over here. We gotta get rid of this one or that one, so it's not as easy to execute it. But as long as we know who you are, then we can definitely work towards that goal.
He talking good. I got plenty of questions, y'all. I got plenty of questions. My daughter asked this question. She's one of my producers. She was saying, how do you date seriously and not overdo and do wifely things and you're not a wife? But how do you show a man you possess those wifely things without doing too much wifely stuff?
That is a good question. A lot of women get caught up right there. I was a man that I gave you my attention before I ever gave you my intention. So the man for her is going to have to lead with his intention. Because if I know that certain things are not where you want to be, if I want to be with you, and those things where you are at, I need to meet you there to make sure that we can cohesively exist together. But if I'm trying to push you off of your processes, remember we talked earlier? I was more important as a prospect than their processes. So what happened was they were willing to leave off of the work that they put in to become the woman that they needed to be just because they would rather be with me. So when you put the prospect in front of the processes, what can you expect now? You're never gonna get his intention, all you're gonna get is intention.
So what boundaries do you set up when you're in a serious relationship that honors you and she knows though she can't cross it?
One of the hardest things is physical touch, because as a man, that's my love language. That's what I do to express myself, is physical touch. So we need to have those, just like these water dates that we're having. This is what we talk about that. Because it's important for me to know what your negotiables are and what your non-negotiables are. See, I don't want to get into a relationship then find out that this is not what you want. Feelings involved, and it's hard for you to walk away if your feelings involved with my representative.
Mm.
You don't went on all these dates, but you never asked the right questions. So you done hired me for a job that I really can't do. But now you care about it. Now you got feelings involved. What's gonna happen? Now you're gonna get off of your processes to make sure that I, as your prospect, am gonna be happy.
Okay, we stand right there. Literally, I have been out on a date with a gentleman. He said his former wife, she passed away. I told him I would like to see the death certificate. I would like to see a credit report, and I would like to see some information about his physical aspects, and I have to give you the same. When I went to the restroom and came back, he was not there. What is the reason? What did I do that scared him off?
Well, you gotta understand, everything ain't for everybody. All you did was save the turmoil and the experience of having to get to that point and your feelings involved. So now, imagine asking me that question 6 months from now, but we've been together hanging out. That's a harder walk away. It's a harder walk than me just leaving you in the beginning because I'm not ready. See, my dad used to always say this: you say you want a giraffe, but what are you gonna feed it? So we don't have the necessary tools and skill set to deal with a woman that puts that out there and say, here. So all he did was let you know that I'm not the one for you. And he got out the way soon enough to where there was no feelings invested.
And I appreciate that now, having conversation with you today. But when I came back, I was pissed. I'm just gonna be honest, because I think why he couldn't just say,
Well, let me ask you this. Would you be madder then or madder a year from now?
I just wanted him to just sit at the table, just tell me you're not the one. Because that's not rejection to me.
Well, sometimes when the snake leaves the house, you don't care if you go out the front door, out the back door. Sometimes you just want him out the house.
This is true.
So sometimes the blessing ain't gonna be at the door you want him to go out of.
And I guess women need closure.
Well, why would you need closure if it was never nothing open?
Mm-hmm. See, we learning today, y'all.
So
I'm definitely learning.
Yeah, you went in and opened. So there's no way. Go in with an open mind, but you don't have to be to the point to where you are emotional about something or somebody. And I understand you want to work off of a hope that I hope this is the one. But do you see, you can't don't beat yourself up because he ain't. Be happy that you were spared.
I'm happy there.
Yes. Yeah, because believe you me, waiting you to find out a year from now, it would have been a different walk away. Now you got to walk with emotions. That bag is a lot heavier to carry than just walking out with your purse and what you came into the store with.
Okay. So, how do we, because I'm a female and I'm an emotional being, how do I not work off emotion and work, because I have to be more logical now.
Okay.
And more strategic.
Okay.
Because I really shouldn't have been upset by the way you just said it to me, but that evening I was. So how am I not so emotional? I don't want to go off of that because that has not led me to where I want to go.
Well, this is the difference. I'm never going to say don't have your emotions. What I am going to say is don't let those emotions dictate your next move.
Mm.
If you're mad at him, but you go out and bust the windows out of his car, two separate stages. When you're emotional, if he's your person, you should be able to have a conversation with him about your emotions because it is his job to protect those emotions. But if you're emotional and you go out there and bust his windows out, you see, so you have a right to your emotions. You have a right to your emotions. It is my place to make sure that you do have those emotions and those emotions are covered. But it's when your emotions turn to actions or when your emotions turn to feelings that you're angry. You know, it's enough people with high blood pressure angry for what? What you mad about? So if you're with the right person and you have an emotion about something that he's doing, have that emotion, but also be able to have that conversation. That's why people talk is so important. That's my secret ingredient. When I get my wife, oh, well, I'm going to have a cheat sheet because, and I brought y'all 10 little cheat sheets. But anyway, that is the time that I'm going to address it because that's the time that we're all, both of us are vulnerable. We can be transparent, and we're not separated because I'm going to always pull you close and say, "Now, what was that about? Tell me about it. I want to hear."
Okay, for a woman who has not experienced that, and I have to say, the gentleman I've been with have created somewhat of a safe place, but it was always, if you don't do this right, the love's gonna be taken. So I think that's been a
Yeah,
fear.
and that is a big fear, and rightfully so, because what you exist to do is in jeopardy. You are put here to love me. When I hold that against you because of your emotions, I'm asking you to conform, to be who I want you to be versus loving who you are. So you're right. You definitely want to make sure that you're with the right person because with the right person, you have your emotions and me creating a safe space. When you start off that conversation, baby, thank you, thank you. And of course, he's going to be like, for what? For giving me the safety that I can be me and let you know how I feel. Now, mind you, this is pillow talk. Where he gonna go? Where is he gonna go? It's pillow talk. We don't utilize that moment we utilize the bed for so many different reasons, but we eliminate one of the most important things that can happen, and that is real communication. Because as a man, my communication is physical. As a woman, your communication to me can be receiving me being physical. But what about me talking to you and finding out how was your day? Why did you act that way? Talk to me because I don't want to see you like that. So what can I do to make that better?
Question. Ladies stay past the expiration date of a relationship. Help us to walk away sooner.
I would say this. The reason why, in my experiences, women stayed, it wasn't because I was the best man. It was because I was the best of all the rest. Doesn't mean I was good. Just mean I was better than the other ones. So she valued what we could be versus what it is. See, she was in love with potential.
Mm.
So she was in love with who I could be. She was in love with what I could grow into. Not realizing that unless I wanted to grow farther, I wasn't going to take that journey. Because if it was good enough for her to say I do, then why would I grow? See, and that's what we got to talk to men about, making sure that we continually grow. Don't let your relationship stagnate you at good, because sometimes being good is not going to be good enough. The biggest enemy of a great man is a good man, because it's no more growth. And I tell men this, I say, you know what? Good gets you to the NBA, great gets you Michael Jordan. Who would you rather do? Who would you rather be? What kind of legacy you want to leave behind? I strive to be great every day, and I fall short. I never stop at just being a good man when I know that I can strive to be a better and a greater man.
What caused this journey? Because our prior conversation, when I first talked to you on the phone, you weren't the man that you are now. What caused you to be this man that you are?
I made it to the mirror. I got out of the window and I made it to the mirror. When I got to the mirror, I was able to see me. Nothing else around me, nobody with me. I did not like what I saw. I did not like, I was the tornado that was able to look back. The hardest thing about a man that lives in his successes is to look back. Whatever I made you feel like, whatever I made you think of me, I wasn't there to change your mind. That's when I knew I was healed from who I used to be. Because I wasn't there to change your mind, I was only there to apologize for what I made you feel. When a man is not healed, not aligned, he wants to make sure I want to change how you feel about me. I don't want to do that. Because it's possibly 99.9% I did make you feel that way. You have a right to your feelings. But I also want to use that time to apologize for whatever I made you do. When you see a tornado, they show the wreckage behind it. They don't never show the tornado stop running. They just go to show the wreckage. I need to look behind me and go back and try to fix in the form of I apologize, I'm sorry. And in penetration, every page of this book, please accept my apology.
So the ladies that you said sorry to, did they forgive?
Well, I don't really know if they did it wholeheartedly or not because it really wasn't for them. It was really for me. My apology to them was so that I could continue to grow. So that's why I continue to do it. I've been on live and I've had women from 32 years ago come back and assess the man that I am now versus the man that I was then. And I had to accept it. See, ownership, a lot of courage and confidence comes with ownership. I had to be confident that I'm no longer that man, and I had to have the courage to be vulnerable to the world to say, this is the man I am now. So being obedient first, and then also being able to accept that, you know what, I gotta be accountable. If that's who you said I was, then that's who I was to you. Let me apologize for being that man.
Do you put anything before God now?
No, not now, not now. Before I did. Before I did. I only took things to God that I felt like I couldn't handle. And not that I can handle everything. But I had to truly understand what it was to surrender, give it up all, to come back to be made this way. I couldn't heal as long as I'm trying to heal myself. I couldn't be aligned as long as I'm trying to align myself. I couldn't do that. So I needed to be able to have the courage to fail.
I don't think I knew how this conversation was gonna go. And because I've watched you for 4 or 5 months on TikTok. And my daughter called me the social butterfly now. But I watch to bring the best people to my audience. And I think you have the voice of a man that deserves to be forgiven. You didn't hurt me, but for every woman that you hurt, I want you to know that I forgive you.
Thank you.
Your kindness now, you deserve that comfortable place. So I don't think women are taught to give a safe place for a man. Teach us tonight how we create a safe space for y'all.
One of the biggest things to me is to not associate age with experience. A lot of us have yet to go back into our lives and cut the emotion button on. A lot of us are still operating from a non-emotional place. We weren't taught as little boys, when you fall down, you cry. We were taught different. So those things don't work in real life as you get older in relationships. But there's no woman that says, baby, let me help you go back and cut that emotional switch on. You know why? Because they expect us to already know it. So there's no learning curve. There is no saying that I know that this is where you're at today. Had a woman grab me long time ago and put that into me, that patience, that kindness, that understanding that one day I am going to get better. Instead of just saying, you too old on this right here. We don't operate off what's right or wrong. We operate on what's successful. So if it's successful for me to go all day and not talk to you, you come to my house and you spend the night with me, why would I change that? That is when we need you. That's when we need you to say, baby, I need for you to call me. I need for you to check on me. That's not getting off your pivot. That is letting me know that this is what is expected of me to do. But if you don't let me know, you can't fault me when I don't. We're getting dinged for things that we really don't, But the difference is this. When you were a little girl and you fell down, what they did, they came to your rescue and said, who pushed you down? Who did this to you? Who made you cry? No accountability. But me, I had to have not only accountability, I couldn't even have any emotions about what it is that were hurting me. So we grow up very differently. We need to understand that. So not only be our safe place to land, show us the same grace and mercy that you show yourself.
I don't think we show ourselves enough grace and mercy because I've walked a very controlled life since I've had a lot of pain. So I'm very strict with myself because of the pain. So help me tonight to release that control so that my husband can see me.
Well, what I want you to do first is decide whether or not you can truly be in a position to be vulnerable to a man. What I mean by that is, it's no one foot, it's a hokey pokey. It's not 1 foot in and 1 foot out. If you're fully committed, we don't come with guarantees. We don't come with a warranty on our head that we just got to be worth it for you to say, you know what, we can go through this together. We can overcome this together. So if you're at that place and you're looking for your person, then you're going to know, because that person's going to want to work on not just your strengths. The person's going to want to work on your weaknesses with you, things you're not good at, and that's vice versa. That's what makes us work. I want to do something that you're not good at, and even though I'm the head of the household, you're better with money. What do you think I'm going to do? Right here. We need to make the better decisions for the bigger picture. I got to play a thing in penetration that says, today, I would judge myself by my grace and mercy, but I will not judge others by their actions. Because so many times when a person does something wrong, we're so one and done these days. So if you come to a man and he says the wrong thing, don't just be out. Don't throw away the whole man, because he might not have ever been in that situation before. So if you really want to meet a man and be with a man, then you have to understand what that man is weak at, and you have to ask him. You have to ask him. I want to be part of your life. I want to be on this journey with you, but what are you not good at?
Question. I've not run into a gentleman that unfolds himself that way and is not maybe comfortable enough to say he's not good at something. So how can we have this? Like you're on this journey. You're not uncomfortable with it. A lot of the gentlemen, I say 75% of them are not going to tell you they're not good at something.
Well, how many have you asked?
I would say in the last 3 months, I might have asked 20.
And you're single.
Yes.
So then 21 for you.
Right.
Okay. So you don't stop asking. You don't change the job description to fit the person. You get the right person for the job description. See, I like you saying your processes because that meant that you could have been in 20 horrible relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Not you, I'm saying, but the possibility of being somewhere because you altered the job description to fit the person. So those 20 that you asked, that was easy. That didn't invest a lot of your emotions.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
All it did was get the wrong ones out of the way, so when the right one come along, he gonna come in, he gonna tell you the right man in your life, you gonna be able to ask him some questions because he gonna give you the answer to him. You like, wait a minute.
I'm a preacher, and I'm gonna use me. I ain't gonna use nobody else. I want to learn how to now surrender. I did it in my former relationships, but I must have not have done it as well. Because I'm telling you, this mouth for mouth was, in my first marriage, it almost killed him. My second marriage, I ain't say nothing. And I twisted up into whatever he needed me to be. I want to find a happy medium. So help me.
Create that space for him so that he could. If I'm coming to your house for dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whose favorite food you gonna cook? Yours or mine?
Yours.
No.
But that's what I would do.
Cook yours.
Why?
So that when you come to my house, I know what you like. See, you're dropping those gems without us having to ask. So if I come to your house and you cooking dinner, you say, "Oh, this is my favorite meal right here, steak and potatoes. This is my favorite drink right here. This right here. Oh, and you know I love those roses. This is my favorite flower." When you come to my house for dinner, we want to know how to win. So now it's a little cheat sheet, but I know that those things work. So guess what? When you get to the house, you say, "Steak and potatoes, how did you know?" I said, "I just heard you say it. So let me find out you pay attention." Roses, do you see how that builds us up? You've given us 3 things about you without us even having to ask. So now you're dropping those gems and you're picking them up. So now you can decide whether or not to move to the next stage of being.
We're gonna have to get our producer.
Oh, they came out. But so now you can decide whether to give them the next little nugget of being submissive. The next little nugget. You see how you are allowing him to learn and earn. Because if you've given him your favorites and you show up there, he got something you're allergic to. Why would you want to go to the?
Oh, come on now.
You know, why would you want to go?
Our producers, if somebody wants to come on to the live.
Yeah. So those are the little things that you do. Those are just little nuggets you drop to let him know that, hey, so if he's paying that kind of attention, then you know to move to the next step. Now you can let him know a little bit more.
I guess somebody just came in live. You got a question for Trey? Hello, how are you? We can't hear you.
Do you have a question, sir? Yeah, yeah. Do you have a question?
Is that a troll?
Yeah, you can just back him up.
You take him out.
Yeah, you can back him up.
Okay, we gonna move on.
Okay.
Okay.
But did you catch that part? I know you just right. Did you catch that?
Yes, and I guess okay, we gonna do it like this. I touched his shoulder. He feel good too, y'all. I prepared his lunch because he drove down. But I asked you what you liked. I prepared grilled chicken with onions, grilled chicken without. I got an assortment of fruit. You told me how you liked your salad. So you're saying if I'm preparing for you,
And I'm a prospect,
mm-hmm.
and you're having me at your home, that's when you implement that. You implement that because you're having him in your home, your sacred place. So that means that you've had conversation with him enough that you feel safe that you can invite him to your home. That's when you kick in that part, and you let him know. So now he knows those things. Okay, I know you like roses. I know you like this kind of thing. That's your favorite food. So now the man that's going to earn you is also doing what? Learning.
And I guess I'm not allowed a man to earn me. In talking to you today, I'm catching it, but I have not allowed that. So explain that so the ladies will know what you mean when you say allow a man to earn you.
I got a new project and it's called Throw It in the Buggy. Okay. What that means is this: if you're my person, I'm against the spend the night bag. I don't want the spend the night bag. The man that wants you in his tomorrow is going to want you to have the thing that you have at your house, at his house, right? So I'm going to pull up and say, hey, what you doing today? Let's go to Target. Because I want to get some of the things that you have at your house, I want them at my house too, right? The reason why is this: I don't want to be going through your cabinets. I don't want to be in your medicine cabinet. I don't want to be doing all that. I'm going to be paying attention to whatever you put in that way. Learning, but we're learning because I want you in my tomorrow. Now, a man that does not care, you can have to spend the night back as long as you want to. His man is sort of making sure that you don't leave nothing there.
Mm.
The man that wants you is wants you. He want to make sure you have your stuff there. Big difference. Doesn't mean that the man that doesn't care about spending the night bag will never become a different guy. But at that moment, you can bring him back to his house as long as you don't leave nothing. He's good. The man that wants you in tomorrow, he don't want you to bring it back over there at all. He wants stuff to be that way.
I'm a kingdom woman. I believe in kingdom dating. How does it work? Because I'm to be with a man, date him, hire him for this job, and he know he can't sleep with him.
Well, those up front, you lead with that. Remember your negotiables and your non-negotiables. You lead with that. You lead with that. You don't change the job description to fit the person. The job description is the job description. You give him an opportunity to say, babe, I wish I'm not there yet. Or let me set some boundaries, because I ain't that man, but let me set some boundaries.
And when you say some boundaries, what are some boundaries? Because I want to be able to,
Yeah, you can do that, but at 7 o'clock I need to be gone. I need to be. What I'm saying is, I don't need to be put in a position, even though I understand I've mastered intimacy, so I can give you that, but I don't want to be in a situation where now that crosses my mind. So let's stay in our boundaries, because I'm like, what if she, no, so that's why you gotta be strong and say, hey, look, you know what, we're gonna just have these boundaries, and it works both ways. I'm going to receive what you say, and I'm going to say if I can handle it or not. That way it doesn't waste your time, doesn't waste my time, and therefore I'm not trying to get you off of your processes. Or I'm trying to get you off, I'm trying to get myself off my processes. So we need to have that conversation. If that's something, because that's big, let's have that early. Let's have that early. Let's have that early.
You want to ask the question? She good. Look, she good over there. Is true love sacrifice to you?
I'm gonna say this, yes, because I was willing to give a woman everything. I wouldn't sacrifice nothing.
Help us. What you mean?
I would give her everything she wanted, but I wasn't gonna sacrifice what was important to me just to make us work. Use your example that you just said. Yeah, I could give you everything in the world, but I wasn't gonna sacrifice not having sex to be in a relationship. So now that that's on the table, so you gotta be able to communicate these things and put them out so that we can just like we're doing now, we can talk about them. Because you don't wanna wait until it's feelings are involved. And now it's not an easy walk away. It's not easy to walk away.
And when it's not easy to walk away, that's when you start bending your boundaries.
That's when you start changing that job description to fit that person that was never meant for the job in the first place.
Have you forgiven yourself for all the ways you think you disappointed God?
Oh yeah. Because I wouldn't truly believe in him if I didn't forgive myself. Because I know he has. So if for me, that I'm doing again, yes, I have forgiven.
Because I'm always the one, and I'm very careful now that I'm not trying to fix everything, because that is my Achilles heel. So in relationships, how do I do better about not trying to fix it?
Well, this is a good thing about that. It's okay to want to fix everything, as long as you're first. See, a fixer doesn't put themselves first.
No,
A fixer put themselves last. So as long as you want to fix everything, it's cool. As long as you start with you, put you first.
I'm working on it, yeah.
Yeah. And that's easier said than done, but yes, but that's what happens. Sometimes it's harder for a giver to know what it's like to receive, because it comes from such a different position for them. Now, they can see somebody on the street and help them, but for them to receive help, it feels kind of awkward. Like,
And maybe it's not been the right person that's want to help.
But you got to be able to receive it. You got to be able to receive it. You can't just say, well, ooh, I don't want nobody help. But you the first person to help somebody. You got to be able to judge others, give them grace and mercy, and not just basically just give it to yourself. I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people have a problem with: empathy and sympathy. I was a man that I wanted to show you sympathy. I didn't want to empathize, even though I went through the exact same thing you did. I didn't want to show my vulnerability. See, empathy makes you vulnerable because it shows a person over there that's going through something. Guess what? I've been through that same thing. We don't want to do that. We want to just give them sympathy. Oh, I just sympathize with you. It's going to get better. I realized I was the same person under that same bridge, but I did not want to be vulnerable. See, empathy brings vulnerability.
Here we go, Claudia. I'm on my way. How come when a man cheats, we have to just forgive them, but when she cheats, he can't forgive?
Well, you said the statement, bro. The statement was said wrong. You don't have to forgive him. That's the first thing. You don't have to forgive him. He was wrong. The difference is that we as men know that in order that to happen, it comes from a different place for you than it would be for me. Sometimes we find the slightest imperfection to step away. You didn't make my favorite food this week, and we find something to justify what we've done. We know that it's wrong, going in, doing. A lot of times we don't feel remorseful until after the fact, right? When you guys cheat, we know that it comes from a whole different place. That man gave you something that I was not giving you.
Mm.
Whatever he said to you, I didn't say. Whatever way he made you feel, I didn't. Now, we're not talking about a person that just says, I just want to do it because I'm just going to do it. We're talking about someone that is in a situation that there is remorseful from doing that. You know, if, and I've been around couples that he cheated. And one of the hardest things for a lot of men to handle is that what if it was her that did that? Would you be as forgiving? Would you be as understanding? Would you allow her to say that you didn't change all of my tires? You only changed 3 of them, and because you didn't do the 4th one, that was why I cheated. Would we accept that as an excuse? We wouldn't. Because we know emotionally you've checked out. And that's one thing that you guys all have. But if you no longer can give me that, that's why I say it's my job to protect those emotions. I don't want you to necessarily do the action, which would be the cheat. But I want you to have those emotions, and that's when my pillow talk comes in, because I need to do a progress report to know, what am I lacking at, baby? What am I not doing? What do you need more of from me? I need to learn how to prioritize you. I said this a long time ago. I want to make you my priority and not just a priority. The bills are a priority. The car insurance, the car note, those are priorities. But I want you to not be on that list for those. That's why pillow talk is important. To pull that woman close and let her know, baby, you are my priority and not just a priority. So,
Okay. I don't know about y'all, but I'm good. I would like for you to give us the pillow talks that you wanted to give us.
yeah, I have some secrets, some things that I put together here. You know, this. I think that we don't use pillow talk for the best experience. That we use the bed, we use the car. Pillow talk doesn't necessarily be in the bed. It's anywhere that I can get you alone and I can be open, honest, vulnerable, transparent. So I have 2 philosophies that I live by. I'd rather be happy than to be right. Okay? I'd rather be repaired than replaced. Okay. I use pillow talk, and this is what I would do. I use this. Now remember, now you're not having to do this every night, but I want you to do 1 or 2 of these every night. But I don't want you to have to feel like you got to do all these things every night. But I want you to get a gauge of what feels good. I use this time to let her know that she's most definitely my priority, as I said, and not just a priority. A priority, the bills, the rent, the mortgage. I don't want her on that list. I don't want her on that list. This is also a time for me to draw her close and let her know that I'm satisfied with only her, by only her. I don't need her to have those doubts that somebody else can satisfy me better than she can in every form of fashion. Whether I'm in the car driving and she puts her hand on my leg, I'm appreciative. I also like to utilize this time to assure her that even busy, because we're busy, I have to assure her that she's most definitely my most successful thing that I have going on. I don't want her to feel like she's over here, my business is over here, and I'm only having time for my business. I need to let her know that, hey, wait, phone off, this is our time. This is not business. You are my successful thing. Okay. Um, that's the time that I can ask her how her day has been, what does she need, what she needs for me to do, how does her tomorrow look, and I also find out, baby got an appointment today, anything you need to get from the grocery store, any way that I could help take something away from her day that she could be doing, I could do it. Why not? I use this pillow talk time for that. It's also that time for me to be that man to, I'm a butt smacker, so I'm gonna smack your butt. And, you know, and I'm gonna also let you know, um, because I think that we get caught up in desirable meaning something sexual. So I want to use this time to let her know she desires, whether we are having sex or not. Remember, if you're a kingdom woman, you still want to know that I desire. This is the time I use that to let you know that you're desirable. Because remember, intimacy and sex are the same. I can say, baby, you smell so good and you look so good. I can give you that. This is the time that I can do that, right? It's also an opportunity to let her know how much I appreciate that she's helping me meet the goals that we've set together. Relationships that are moving forward need to have goals. We need to have goals set so that you and I can get to these goals together. And if marriage is a goal, let's get to it. If owning a home together is a goal, let's get to it. So this is the time that I let you know that, hey, baby, I appreciate the way that you're helping make this come true for us. Also a time to reassure her that I love how she's handling the house and we have kids. And you also use this time to make sure that she knows that she doesn't have to walk on eggshells to have that tough conversation. Come to me with it. Talk to me about it. This is that time that I use to make that happen. Number nine, that these little 10 secret little tidbits. Number nine, this is the time that I encourage her about her personal goals. You want to go back to school to learn how to do this. This is the time that I say, baby, what can I do to help you? Because I don't want her to lose herself with making everybody else. And I think that's what. So when have you been asked, what are your personal goals? What do you want to do? Let me help you do what you individually want to do. And last, and the most important one, this is the time that you pray with her and you pray for her. This is that time that you do that. And these are just things that I practice so that when my future wife comes home, because she's not moving in. Ain't no moving in, she's coming home. I already know what I'm doing. So I don't want to wait until she comes to start practicing these things. I want to practice them so when she comes. So those are the things that I think Pillow Talk is about. And those are a lot of the things that I have in penetration. Like I said, it's a 21-day journey. And at the very end of that journey, it says, if you need more, start over, day one. One of the last ones, the day 21, is the courage to fail. I didn't see the God in me because I saw so much of myself. So the things that I should have surrendered, it took me a long time to understand that my picker wasn't working and I was the wrong baggage at the right house a lot of times. And so once I began healed, and let me explain what healing means. And it doesn't necessarily mean that there was somebody on the other end of the pain.
Mm.
I had to heal from a broken mindset. I had to heal from horrible affirmations. I had to heal from not knowing how to take care of a woman's feelings. I needed to be a safe place for her to land, not just a person for her to come home to. I didn't guard, I didn't protect. I just thought that if I got your hair done and your nails done and I did something that was worthwhile doing, I needed to truly, truly, truly understand that I needed to grow and I needed to be away from what kept me going left and right on that seesaw to get out that merry-go-round and get quiet so that I can truly hear what was needed for me to do.
I don't know what else we have to say. He's been an amazing, transformative guest. He's allowed himself to be open and allowed us to ask him anything. Even before we came on, I was asking him anything. So, and he's answered a lot of questions. He's helped me to examine myself, and everybody who knows me, that's a daily journey for me. So maybe if you look at me, you'll see the things that I've done that have not been so wonderful, and you can walk your way through it. Before tonight is over, I'm gonna have all Treye's information, all his platforms, but I do want you to talk about Man's Monday.
Okay.
So the men that watch this, when it comes back across, where they can find you.
Right now, Men's Monday is not on a platform other than Zoom because it is privacy, confidentiality. But I can definitely bring it to TikTok on Mondays. So what I do is I take the platform that we did in private and I bring it over to TikTok. And we just talk about some of the things that we discussed in Men's Monday. Um, from assertive to aggressive, how I had that wrong. I thought I liked assertive women, but I was drawn to aggressive women. So we talk about all those things that we go through as men. So if you definitely follow me on here, and we can definitely talk about it because I'm about building us up. Because if I feel like we're built up, then we could also hold and support and build up our women.
They're in the background telling me to do stuff, y'all. Allow questions at the end. Okay, if anybody's got any questions, my moderator's controlling them. Y'all roll them out before I let them go home. Huh? And the moderator says you got about 5 minutes. But I did not acknowledge all our guests on tonight. I appreciate you guys coming on tonight. Treye has lent his expertise. He's unfolded himself. He's ready to answer any questions that you have. And we are going to do this again.
I would love to. I would like for us to do this because this is what it looks like to bridge the gap. When we're saying there are no more good women, no more good men, this is what we need. We need this interaction so that we can say, you know what? Maybe I haven't been looking in the right place. Maybe if I start in the mirror, I can present a better me to get a better person to see.
But you got to be ready. And me and Treye talked about this earlier. There are a lot of single women out here that are not ready to change. This is not the platform for you. And he was teaching me today because women haven't been accountable for a lot of things. I'm accountable not only to myself, but I'm accountable to God first, and then to my children. And my son made a statement once, he was like 17. I was about to go out the house with this dress on, and it was a little bit over my knee, and he had never seen my knees before. He was like, "Mom, where you going?" I said, "I'm going to the store." He said, "Dressed like that?" He said, "I want my wife to look like you." I immediately went in the house and changed my skirt. And I'm going to tell you, my daughter-in-law looks like me. My daughter-in-law looks like me. So I'm accountable not just to myself. I'm accountable to Trey now because he's been training me today. And he's got the right, if he sees me to move a certain way, to tap me and say, you know, sis, that ain't right. I'm giving him that space because he's helping me to get to the next place. So if y'all want to ask some questions, come on. And somebody saying something about absolute anger.
No, I absolutely agree.
Okay.
Wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's my sister, actually.
Hi, how are
That's my
you?
only sibling right here.
Hi, how are you? I'm glad you're on tonight. So we don't see any questions. We're
Well,
gonna,
before I leave real quick, I want to say something about a dream come true. I'm doing some modeling now, doing some runway modeling, and I just didn't want to leave without saying,
come on.
see you on the runway. Oh man, we'll be in different cities. Check my flyer, I put it on my page. I'm not gonna take a lot of your time up, but it just lets you know you're never too old to follow your dream.
And I'm gonna holler out some of the cities. He's gonna be in Albany, Georgia. He's gonna be in Columbus. He's gonna be in Macon, Jacksonville, Florida, and Atlanta. And we will post this on my social media so you can find it. And I know in April, I'm gonna be there.
Okay.
I'm gonna be there in April. We got one more thing. We gonna wrap up though. We are gonna wrap up. I wanna thank Trey for coming tonight, for just yielding and giving and being so honest and so helpful. And I wanted to say to you, thank you for not pinning me to the cross because I haven't done things perfectly. The way that you walked me through some of my questions, it wasn't harmful because I got an ego too. Men have an ego, but women do too, and you didn't bruise it.
You know why?
Why?
Because it's my job to protect them.
We've not always had men to protect us.
Understand?
We have not always had. I have my pastor, Overseer Derek Vines. I have my mentor, Overseer Stephen Sherrod, my former pastor who's passed away. Those three men have always been solid in my life. I got number 4 now. Trey's gonna be solid in my life.
Gotcha.
So I appreciate him. Y'all, we gonna wrap it up tonight. Bye, TikTok. She said, say bye to TikTok. We're going to wrap up another episode of Straight Talk Food for the Soul. Thank you for spending your Saturday night with me. I love all you guys. Have a good one. Goodbye, everybody.